Stars and Summits Trophy 2024 played out between USA and Nepal. The first ever T20Is, official T20Is between these two nations. Nepal won that inaugural match 48 hours ago, and they stand in a pretty good position at the halfway point of this T20 number 2. We'll have the series decider tomorrow, and will the series be level going into it? Or are Nepal going to have an unassailable 2-0 lead? Andrew Leonard here alongside Aman Patel. Aman, great to have you with me. I've really enjoyed that first innings. It was highly entertaining.
Yeah, it was. It felt like Nepal controlled it from the word go, and especially that late surge that was really... It started with Gulshan Jha. You're going to look at the scorecard and say he only scored 19 runs, but he scored a couple of big strokes, a couple fours and a six, and then Gulshan Bartel just kept it going, 92 off 54 for him. And so now for the USA, it's about creating that middle partnership, a partnership somewhere. That's what they missed in the first match, where they lost 3 early. Saiteja Mukamala there on your screen will look to find a score on his home team, and then you take a look with the ball for Nepal. They're going to want to get off to a similar start to where they did the other night. Rijan Daka was brilliant with the left arm seam, and have to imagine that they're going to dare the USA to go over the top. You take a look at the field, and you just see to that short side to the right, there's still no fielders there. They're putting everyone in their basket out into the deep on that long boundary. They do have that one deep backward square. And Lenny, again, this will all be about the openers here for the USA. Can they get off to a much better start than they did in night number 1?
Sticking with the change to the order, the change from Namibia, that is Manak Patel back into the team.
Manak Patel back into the team, and he is sticking with that change to the order from Namibia. In Namibia, we saw Saiteja Mukamala open up with Andries House very effectively, but the captain, he says, no, I want to take the responsibility, and he'll face up to the first ball. It will be a leg side wide. I think it's a really good point you made there, Aman, about Gulshan Jha's impact in that first innings, and it's why you often can't judge a game by purely looking at the scorecard. Like you said, you'll look at the scorecard and you'll say it's only 19, but the entire course of that first innings changed when Monty Desai promoted the youngster up the order.
Yeah, they needed that at that stage. They were going about to run a ball, and they just needed something, a spark plug almost. And in T20 cricket, oftentimes you don't need the biggest score, you just need to be able to fire quickly, and the USA struggle with that in the middle. They weren't able to get that quick fire runs. That's the difference right now for Nepal.
Now an appeal from Rijan Daka, but that's clearly pitched outside leg. I think it's going to be given as leg buys. Didn't see any bat involved. It is. You don't think that was really ever going to be given out. The makeup of this team for Nepal, though, with obviously the news that many of the Nepal fans will have seen over the last 24 hours, Sandeep Lamachani has been now granted a US visa. The news that I hear is that he's on the way. There is that evidence, pitching outside leg, impacting outside leg. I think he's going to arrive tomorrow, but I don't know what time tomorrow. And it might be a big ask to make him play that first or the final T20I. You'd suspect, though, the biggest piece of news, though, is he'll be here for the ODIs, and given the importance of them and Cricket World Cup League 2, that'll be a big, big boost for Nepal.
Yeah, he's just an impact bowler for this team. Again, can do it in the T20 format in particular, but in the ODIs, they're coming off a series where they didn't find any points in that Cricket World Cup League 2 table. They got off to a flyover start in the spring, but since the World Cup, they haven't been able to find it. Looking to continue a great flow under this brilliant Dallas Moon, and Sandeep Lamachani would give them a big boost with another leg spinning option to go alongside the Binder Singh Rees. Bit of off spin. Looks like we're going to get a little stoppage in play now.
Yeah, the reason for that stoppage in play, they're going to see Lalit Rajbanshi run on the helmet. Now, this worked against Manak Patel the other day. Rijan Daka doesn't have a lot of pace, but what he does have is incredible skill. He moves the ball predominantly into the right-hander, but he very much has one that swings a long way away. This will force Mukamala to stay in his crease. Right on the money, but Mukamala is good enough to get off the mark, working a single to mid-on. We saw Nepal control that first T20 in the second innings, right from the off. USA never got ahead of the required run rate. Are we going to see a different approach from USA here in the power play?
I think you're already seeing it. Think about the way Manak Patel started. He was just kind of taking wild hacks at the ball, wasn't he? Saiteja Mukamala was looking to lift everything over the top. Because in Namibia, they got maybe decks that were just a touch flatter, not as much sideways movement, and they were just able to kind of just throw their hands to the line of the ball. Here so far in Texas, there's a reward if you can stick into the middle. That's what you're going to see today from the USA.
Really good full length from Rajan Dakal. No right-handers like the ball swinging into them from a left-arm bowler over the wicket. And that's what has seen the stock of left-arm seamers in T20 franchise leagues just go through the roof. And you can see it here. Initially, the first line and angle you see is, okay, that's going to be on off stump, but it just keeps forcing its way in.
Yeah, it's so tough to play. Again, from the full member nations, from the top of them, think about Virat Kohli or Rohit Sharma, how much the left arm seamer hurts them. Even Sarabjit Tendulkar was able to do them in. Down to the associate level, it's so tough to do, and especially when you can't step down and cut the swing. You have to play it now.
And there's the away swinger. Great skills. Jimmy Anderson, eat your heart out, Rajan Dakal. That is quite superb.
Yeah, and again, for the USA, it's a much more measured approach. We saw Dakal get a lot of reward because of the fact the USA were trying to be overly aggressive. And with the batting lineup that they have, Milind Kumar's great in the middle, Shaheen Jahangir showed his value, and Andres Kraus is great at 3. But you just want to keep those wickets in hand. The problem for the USA, the reason they couldn't get out in front in match number 1, they lost those 3 early wickets, and they're just kind of playing catch-up the whole way through.
It's the in-swinger to round out a very skillful first over. Just 4 runs come from it. It's 4 for none.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई-सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ starting from just rupees 760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the e-sewa app and secure your future today.
Batting order, just a little bit to go. Again, the real problem for them was Aaron Jones was out before that 10 over mark. You want to see him arrive from overs number 8 to 10, and then you allow Milind Kumar to play a more naturally aggressive game. Shaheen Jahangir the same way. Harmeet Singh, naturally aggressive as well. New bowler is the man who's going to say, look, I'm a bat as well. 600 strike rate. Karan KC comes in with the ball in hand.
Nicely driven by Mayank Patel. I think certainly you can see that change in approach, can't you, for USA's openers. It was helter-skelter. It was almost a cat on a hot tin roof. Every single ball there was a shot being played to. And whilst you want to get ahead of the required rate, we have seen movement, and certainly more prodigious movement for Nepal's openers than USA's openers with the ball.
Yeah, there seems to be something about the second innings, a little bit later, a little bit cooler in temperature as well. And still plenty of dew around, but still seeming quite a bit. So you want to be measured because there are runs to be had later. Think of Shaheen Jahangir's late surge 2 nights ago.
Nepal continue to have issues with their death bowling. As Dipendra Singh Airi, the live wire, swoops in like the tiger that he is. It'll be fascinating to see of his impact in this second innings, not just in the field, but when they use him with the ball. He didn't bowl till the 16th over the other night.
Yeah, he was the death bowler of choice, and he proved to be very good at it. Took 3 wickets late, and again, could see him do something similar today, but a lot of it will rest on the approach from the USA. When do they start to tee off? How do they approach these initial phases of the game?
And again, when the ball goes towards Irie, you just can't take him on. And I think USA will have talked about that. He is a live wire. He's electric. He's brilliant to watch. Something you mentioned on there the other night, I think many people don't know this. I reckon this, probably last month and now this month, is the first time this year we've seen Dipendra Singh Airi fully fit. All those cars parked in for the cricket. He had a horror ankle injury, and in fact I saw the ankle injury pre-World Cup. He didn't play in the warm-up games here in Texas. I don't think many other players would have played in that World Cup. He strapped it up and he got on with it. Bowls him. The perfect delivery. It's a peach from Karan KC, and Mayank Patel for the second time in 48 hours is gone early.
It's a fast bowler's dream, this delivery, angled in towards the right-hander. And then that late swing away, Monik Patel looked to play an expansive drive, but this is just what Karan KC does. He's so good. He loves bowling in Texas. The last time he was here before the World Cup would have been in the 2022 Cricket World Cup League Twos, and he was the player of the series. Monik Patel just looking to drive straight. That late movement away was all it did. Little turn of the wrist as well, and look at Karan KC. He knows it. He does it everywhere he goes. And Nepal ahead of the game yet again. Monik Patel goes without much. It's 4 for 1 for the USA.
फोन पे चल्छ है
चलिहाल्छ नि बस्नुस्
अब पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो
पैसा पठाउने र पाउने छिटो सजिलो र सुरक्षित माध्यम फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौँ फोन पे गरौँ
Andries House to the crease at number 3. And again, Nepal have got ahead of the game thanks to that man, Karan KC. He can do no wrong. 6 from the one ball that he faced, and then how good a delivery was this to Monik Patel?
It's just phenomenal, isn't he? He's just able to get that late bit of movement. He's not express pace, and he doesn't swing it a lot in the air, but his key is off the surface what he does. He just gets it to nip around. The key here, he was wider of the crease, angling it in. And Monik Patel, again, looking to be expansive, looking to drive. Just played down the wrong line.
Well, it's very nearly a wicket maiden. That wasn't a catching opportunity, even though some of the fans thought it was. Thudded into the surface by House, and he'll get a single. It's a wonderful start from Karan KC. 2 overs bowled, 5 for 1.
2 5 go on the Honda Dio
Bye bye.
on the Honda Dio
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा
Straight down, and then will just nip in or out. And this one, that wrist position, perfectly in place. And top of off, they say, he takes the off stump for a walk.
It's the angle in and then the shape away. It's actually kind of really the trademark Karan KC delivery. And all of a sudden, USA are under pressure, and under pressure in a big way. Asif Sheikh will stay up to the stumps. That's an elegant cover drive, but who else would it be but Irie? My, oh my. Well, if this had hit, I wouldn't know how to describe it. The moment it came off the bat, you thought it was 4. He somehow stopped it, and then he's turned it into a run-out chance. Extraordinary.
Well, the other night was the first time Anjas Khaus would have played Nepal, and he didn't have realized Deepinder Singh Irie and what he can do. And the only man who would be disappointed with himself on that effort. But this is what Deepinder Singh Irie can do, and Anjas Khaus nearly felt it full-fledged firsthand. He's driven that perfectly. He stopped it brilliantly. House wants to go. Gone. It looks like he would have been gone for all money. This is electric stuff.
Good stroke. Much more like it for USA, and it's Saiteja Mukamala, the youngster who just holds his shape beautifully, doesn't try to overhit, and silences the predominantly Nepalese crowd here in Texas.
This is what Saiteja Mukamala does. It's what he's done coming up through the ranks of youth cricket here in the States. Any bit of width full, he's so good through the cover region, and that's glorious. Knowing there's no protection out there, just had to clear it. Hold his shape, like you said, finds 4.
Such an elegant player, isn't he? He's very much a 360-degree cricketer. There's all the strokes in the book now. I'm not sure you want to take on Irie there, but he was dropped down just enough to allow them to get home for the single. I think House, well, he's on edge out there. He would have been run out. That would have been quite exceptional.
again, for that shot, the way it's come off the bat, if Andres Gels would have gotten out on that delivery, I think he just would have said it's not my day at all, because he's timed it brilliantly. It's somehow been stopped, and then the man who stopped it, who's rolled around, had to track the ball once it's caromed off of him, has somehow found the stumps. But good signs for the USA. Gels and Mukamala timing it well. Does really well to get a hand on that. Does shake. That could have easily been 5 wides, but that hand will just keep it to just 2 off the extra and bring back Saitechi Mukamala.
I don't think quite as much movement as 2 nights ago. I know there's still been a bit, but it was quite dramatic, wasn't it? It was extravagant movement 48 hours ago. Maybe Dakel hasn't quite been as accurate either, but I agree with you. Asif Sheikh does wonderfully well there. That's 4 runs saved, 3 runs saved, not 1 given away, as the 2 wides go on to the total. Better this time, and again, Irie is just in the game, isn't he? The whole time. Wonderful. He's a joy to watch, isn't he? I know we talk a lot about him, but there's a reason why. He brings an energy and a verve and a brilliance to the game.
Again, those are runs there for the USA to have, and Depinder Singh Irie is just a black hole over there at short cover.
But you just can't take your eyes off him, can you?
Again, he's a live wire. He's always moving. He's always around. He always seems to find himself near the ball. As a fielder, as a good fielder, you would have to be saying, I want the ball to come to me because I can affect the game, and that's what Irie can do.
Little slower ball, and it very nearly is chipped to Rohit Paudel at mid-off. And if you wonder about Depinder Singh Irie and how does he get so good at his fielding, as we look at the Dakel slower ball, that's out of the back of the hand, again good skills. He trains so hard. Sometimes up in Canada, in that most recent tour, the match would have finished even when they won a game, and he would go out for an hour or 90 minutes of additional fielding after a game. The appetite and the enthusiasm and the verve for improvement, remarkable. Good comeback from Dakel to end out that over with 3 dots, and Paudel, he's trying to get his team through quickly in between the overs. 3 have been bowled, 13 for 1.
Senior, picture please. Picture honey. Picture coming. Picture.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Momo Mia.
The best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for everyone.
And just let batters sit there and relax. You see the rest of that order. You don't want to see Aaron Jones out there yet. He's such a big hitter late in games, but you want to save him for when the ball stops swinging around. Same with Milind Kumar. We've seen Shahin Jahangir go big. The USA just have to build a partnership.
Now, Andries House goes big, and he goes beautifully straight down the ground. He's picked that up off a length. Wasn't necessarily the worst delivery. And House says, well, KC, I'll see you in the Nepal Premier League next month, all the way for 6.
He's just timed that to perfection, hasn't it? He's picked the late movement as well. It's angled in, it's nipping away, but he's playing through the line of off stump. Monik Patel tried the same stroke, but instead was playing through middle stump. The little difference there, and this is also the classic Andres Gels. The more and more you'll see as the ball goes off if there's a break. As that one's behind the cage, Andres Gels is going to take off the helmet. It's hot over here.
I'm not sure that one's going to come back. And I wonder, are maybe some of the Kevin Hart fans going to get a little gift on the way home as they walk back? Because that one is, it's Gonski's.
Yeah, there's no getting there unless you got, a well-trained pet maybe can claw through the gate there. But I think new ball is going to have to be called for. But this is what the USA need from Andres Gels.
Well, if any of the Nepal fans are watching on Willow by Crick Buzz on their mobile devices, watching back at the highlights, they might say, hold on, get out of my seat, I'll just nip out and see if I can get that ball. Now, more brilliance from House. It's going to be back-to-back maximums. The shorter boundary, yes, but an equally impressive stroke. And USA start with a little counter-punch, a 1-2 salvo from Andries House.
He's got brilliant hands, Andres Gels. He's just able to step into it and just look at the way the wrists go through the shot here. He's just helped himself held the shape. Again, no deep cover fielder. For Karan KC, you can't bowl that wide without a sweeper cover. Have to be much straighter.
He's had a huge impact, hasn't he? We spoke in the first innings about Harmeet Singh's impact since he's come into international cricket. I know he wasn't necessarily in the wickets today, but he just always looks so impressive with his bowling. And House has been the same with his batting. Drags the length back and that thuds into the thigh pad will have been a nasty blow. Well, may well have even ricocheted off the thigh pad into somewhere where nobody wants to be hit. Said the other day he wouldn't make the greatest poker player, Andrews House. He really shows his emotions, doesn't he?
Yeah, you're going to see everything on the face of Andrews House, and I don't blame him there. And again, not a place you want to be hit at all, and he gestured to it straight away.
Just a little check halfway down. Are they still there? Well, whilst we leave Andrew's house to just get his breath back and make sure everything's in place, let's get one more look at the wicket from Karan KC. It was a different kind of length, wasn't it? But Monik Patel has this habit in T20 cricket of trying to force his way down towards the bowler. In ODI cricket, he doesn't do that, does he? Because he's got more time to get set, and that's why he's got such a good ODI record.
Yeah, he's such a phenomenal ODI cricketer, and you've always wondered why hasn't he been able to find the same success in T20 cricket. Leading into the World Cup, he was really at the prime of his form. But yeah, he just seems to force things in T20 cricket that otherwise he doesn't do.
Pace off from Karan KC. Yeah, for me, there's a pretty big disparity, isn't there? And that's with due respect. I'm not saying he necessarily shouldn't be in the T20I team, but you would imagine the opening partnership with the way Mukamala has played in the last 6 to 8 weeks, you'd imagine that Mukamala and House should be opening, and maybe Monik Patel be better suited to number 3.
And it feels more suited towards his skill set. Typically, number 3 can be at around 120 strike rate. Just pick the gaps and rotate once the wicket falls. It just feels when something's working up top, there's no reason to affect it.
Good length again from KC, and once more it's Dipendra Singh Airi, who's had more touches than probably some of the American fielders who were out there for 20 overs in 4 overs. Just one more note on Patel, averaging over 35 in ODI cricket with 15 50-plus scores, including 3 centuries. In now 33 T20s, he's averaging just a shade over 20 with only 3 50s. Big disparity.
Yeah, big disparity. And again, I think it's just him trying to play in another gear, not the gear that he typically plays. Just forcing deliveries, trying to come down the ground and be ultra aggressive when he can sit back at 3 and just play his natural game.
Another change of pace. Good skills from Karan KC. Bertel fields very impressively. It's a good over for USA. They've got 14 runs from it. It's 27 for 1.
फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडाऊ फोन पे गरौ
प्राकृतिक राग भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ भारत साउजी
विजयजी बडो स्मार्ट हुनुहुँदो रहेछ क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ मूल्य होइन
मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
हाम्रो
remorse having left tonight?
I think you had to stick with what was working, right? Saiteji Mukamala is coming off a great tour. Same with Andres Kels. Monik Patel, your captain, bats up top the order. And where is the room for Stephen Taylor? And Stuart Law would have to think about those things, right? Where would he have batted? Because he's been all around that USA 11 in terms of batting at 6.
Going to go with another one from Rijan Dakal, but Mukamala, with a very conventional stroke, pierces the gap on the offside. It's the larger boundary, but that was 4 from the moment it left the bat.
And this is a big part of why Stephen Taylor's not here with us, because Saiteji Mukamala, the man from New Jersey, has just emerged and has just shown his ability. He started his career batting at number 6 for the USA, and right here, he's created that width. It's on stumps, but he's moved outside, and he's just said, all right, I'm going to open the face and play a little bit more square and find 4 runs.
Manufactured that shot, hasn't he? Really, really brilliantly. The mid-off is not in the circle, so he's safe to chip it down the ground. Yeah, I suppose for many who are passionate American fans, that they'll know of Stephen Taylor for so long now. It's 15 years since he's debuted as a man who was only halfway through his teenage years. He's kind of done it all for America, but there has been some diminishing returns of late. They haven't announced officially their ODI squad yet. Could he find his way back into that?
He could. Again, it's just, where's his place going to be? Who are you going to rotate around? Because you're having so much success up top, how does Stephen Taylor fit? Do you feel comfortable with him coming in to bat at number 6, where he hasn't had as much success as when he was an opener? You're not going to move off these two, as Hal somehow has timed that one to the rope. That's going to be 4 runs. He's come off really the toe end of the bat, but it just goes to show you the timing and the ability of this bat.
It also shows the speed of the outfield, doesn't it? And that was another change-up. I think it was probably the one out of the back of the hand. Again, from Dakal, it was completely deceived Andries House, and he'll probably say to his teammates later, look in the book. Perfect straight drive for 4. It was anything but deceived. But good power from House, and he gets another boundary. He's off to a hot start, 18 off just 7 deliveries. Yeah, I suppose the other one that has been a bit of a surprise and a shock, if you will, for some American fans over the last 6 months or so has been no Gajanan Singh. He was in the form of his life really in 2023 in both formats, ODIs and T20s. He added a critical left-hand option in the middle order, which they've kind of had taken away from them now, and I was surprised not to even see him get a go in the USA A team that's going to play midweek ahead of those ODIs.
Yeah, that's the biggest surprise to me as well. He's in such great run of form. Even now in minor league was the second place in voting for the East Division MVP. He had a great season with the bat, also gives you with the ball some off spinners, and again the lefty option that you don't have now that Corey Anderson's not part of this T20 team anymore. Just was a surprise to not see him involved, and coming off a great run of form, you can understand maybe wanting to go in a younger direction, but I don't feel they've gone in that youth direction in terms of, Gajanan Singh obviously 36 years old. If there's a younger man you want to get in there, but when he's at the peak of maybe his form in cricket, felt like an odd decision to pull him completely out of the ranks.
Yeah, and certainly I think Gajanan Singh, amongst some other American players, probably a little bit hard done by the lack of cricket at points. It's down the leg side, and Asif Sheikh, he gets something on it, but I think it was the back of his glove. If anything, it's going to be 5 wides. And this over is going from bad to worse. It's always a risk, bowling 3 consecutive in the power play. USA starting to come into their own and getting, if anything, ahead of the chase.
Yeah, it was almost the third over of Sarbanath Volker in the first innings that really prompted Nepal to really get going, and so far you're starting to see a repeat in history here with Rajan Dakal. He's struggled with the line, I think, so far in this over. He's been wide, he's trying to get way too straight. When he's been on stumps, he's been hard to put away. The only time we saw it was Saitej Mukamala in this over, and I think that's just gotten to Dakal's head a little bit.
It's that little slower ball again. Yeah, the momentum has just really swung USA's way quite heavily. It's mainly thanks to the aggression and impetus and intent from Andries House.
And this is what they were missing the other night, the ability to go out there and do this. When you lose 3 early, you're just not able to put any pressure back onto the bowling side. Today, they've just lost the 1 wicket and they're keeping things in hand. And now you can just see them start to ease themselves into the game. Similar to what Nepal did, even with the early wicket. We saw Bertel come into his own, really keep the game ticking. And that way, he just kept moving in the right direction.
Another elegant cover drive. Irie will hair after it. He'll probably keep it to a couple alongside Gulshan Jha, who goes with him. He does. More good fielding from Nepal. 5 have been bowled. USA very much in the box seat now. It's 44 for 1.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ starting from just ₹760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the eSewa app and secure your future today.
In the first innings to try to change something up, and these two bats have just found gaps, dropped things down. And they're going to go with Sampokami. So a little bit different flavor, a little bit skiddier, rushes on, and still does get it to nip. The one thing here for Angels, he does tend to have a decent gap between bat and pad, something to watch for as Kami likes to bring the ball back in.
Final over the power play can often be a key one. Nepal, for them to be comfortable in their position, they're going to need a second wicket in this power play. And they'd love it to be that of Andrews House. No Lalit Rajbanshi 2 days ago or today. I know that Sagar Dakal bowled outstandingly well. Peter Del Pena highlighted his impact on this, that first T20I, the unsung hero really of the Nepal performance. Were you surprised though that they haven't got Rajbanshi in, maybe bring in an extra spinner?
It could have been an interesting move to bring in the extra spinner. I think because of how well Deepinder Singh re-bowled and Rohit Balda not having to bowl himself, you just felt that, okay, we can keep the same unit together, keep the same bowling core, and keep that batting lineup in check.
It does just feel so strange to me, though, that they're going with Arif Sheikh in this T20I team. For me, he's a fine player. He's a wonderful ODI player, often the Iceman, the man for a rescue situation. But you would think that for a couple of reasons, either you could have got Dev Kanal into the team, or Lalit Rajbanshi, or possibly my preference would have been for Kushal Malla, because if you had Kushal Malla into the side, then not only do you get his additional left-handed batting against left-arm spinners, you also get his few overs of left-arm spin. So maybe Malla was the best of both worlds, and that could be something that Nepal will look at for tomorrow night.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Kushal Malla just gives you that extra gear. I think it gives a time for Gushan Jha to come in later, more preferred, and like you said, that bowling option.
Oh, what a beautiful delivery that is. Perfect line and length, and that seems to have gone through the air and then further off the seam.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Again, angled in and then left Saiteja Mukamala very sharply. You can see where he's playing. He's playing this to mid-on, and at the very end, he's tried to just throw his wrists at it. And this is what Sampokami does. Again, skiddier off the wicket, so it rushes on to you, and then he gets it to nip around. And so something to watch for. This was the change Nepal wanted to get these USA batters under a little bit of pressure.
Oh, what an elegant stroke. That could well be the shot of the entire day, to be honest with you. An on drive, a lofted on drive of the highest quality from the young Saiteja Mukamala, 6 all the way.
Well, it's an audacious stroke after the ball we just saw. Got beat through and through. Used to the feet, but he's checked the line the whole way through. He's played on it. Sampokami tried to cramp him for room, but he's so good straight down the ground. Beautiful high elbow from Mukamala. He's so technically sound, and he used it to his advantage, picking up a boundary.
Just so inspirational, isn't he? Someone like a Saiteja Mukamala, born and bred here in the United States. He's softly spoken, he's quite a quiet kind of guy, but he's incredibly effective. It's just his 8th T20, but he's got off to a flying start already. 250s to his name. He'd love to add a third tonight. That would give USA a real chance in this chase. You know the American domestic scene very well. Is he someone who's kind of really inspiring the other young teenage cricketers? I know he's 20 now, but right the way across America.
Well, he's always had that name of the best domestic bat in his under-19 class. I actually played some cricket with him. I have his wicket on a scorecard. I won't tell you how it happened because it might not be something I'm proud of, but the wicket itself was good. I have Saiteja Mukamala, so anytime he scores a 50, I'll send him a screenshot of that itself.
Where was that caught? Right on the boundary?
No, it was caught by the keeper, Len. It was caught by the keeper. Again, how did it get to the keeper? We'll never know. But
trying to scoop you for 6 or something, was he?
But he has, again, made a name for himself very quickly all the way throughout his career.
That's straight to KC, who misfields a cover, but it won't cost anything more than the single as Rohit Powdell helps him out. It gets us to the end of the power play. USA have edged that phase of the game. And with 6 overs bowled, it's 52 for 1.
चलिहाल्छ नि बस्नुस् अब पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो
पैसा पठाउने र पाउने छिटो सजिलो र सुरक्षित माध्यम फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौँ फोन पे गरौँ
52 for 1. At the end of the power play, USA in pursuit of a target of 171 here in the second T20I in the Stake Stars and Summits series at Grand Prairie Stadium. Peter Delapeno alongside Amit Patel as Gulshan Jha, who has had some sharp bursts with both bat and ball so far in the series. And he comes on at the racecourse end to begin the 7th over against Sai Mukamala. And another audacious drive. It's not going to go all the way, but it will land safely, and he'll collect an adventurous 2.
Yeah, was in the air for a while, but again, that's the bigger side of the ground over there that he's hitting into. So knew the fielders had a long way to go. And if it's pitched up outside the off stump, he's not going to shy away from playing that lofted cover drive. It's his favorite stroke. And he's getting into a good rhythm here. It's a good battle, this. 2 young cricketers, the future of both Nepal cricket, Gulshan Jha and Saitej Mukamala, 18 and 20 respectively. A battle we could see for years to come here between these two countries.
And this is what I like even more about Mukamala. You look at his strike rate over the last couple tours for USA in the Netherlands and Namibia, and you would think by looking at the scorecard, he's slogging the ball all over the place. And yet, in reality, he's extremely efficient because he doesn't block, he doesn't waste deliveries, he's looking to score off every ball. He's not going to try and heave across the line, but something like that, just that tap and run single. If he can't hit it for 4, he can't hit it for 6, he's not going to just chew it up. He's always looking to score somehow and keep the run rate moving, and that's why he's been undroppable, even with the return to health of Stephen Taylor. House, for a moment, looked like he might have had his heart in his mouth as that one was headed towards the fine leg fielder, but it clears him to go for 4.
Well, Andres House had a disappointing first delivery from Gulshan Jha 2 nights ago. It was a half tracker that was wide that just he placed straight to backward point. This time got one sliding down the leg side, and he's helped it over the ring for 4 runs, just enough elevation on it. Something you'll have to watch for with Gulshan Jha bowling, but again, a good partnership brewing. This was what was missing from the USA's match in that first game. They just didn't get this from their top order, and so far, 24 apiece from number 1 and number 3.
Another single is going to be milked into that short cover region to get Mukamala back on strike. Yeah, Sagadaka was the fielder at fine leg. You might need to be Victor Wembanyama to catch that one. You need to be a 7-footer.
I'm not sure Wemby was going to get up there either. Peter would have to get the vertical going as well. But again, very nervy there from Andres House. Didn't quite get the elevation he was looking for. But your point about Saitej and Mukamala getting those singles consistently, I think that's been the brilliance about this partnership as well. They haven't just been boundaries or nothing. They've been able to milk those singles, similar to what we saw from Rohit Baldo and Dipender Singh Airi in that first game, where they just found gaps consistently.
Good change of pace from Gulshan Jha here. We're not too far from San Antonio. Do you think we can get Wemby to make the trek up to Grand Prairie at some point? If he's got an off day with the Spurs, you think he might be able to come up here and be enticed into watching some cricket?
Well, the problem is we're past preseason basketball. We're headed into the regular season, and Wemby's come out with the quote where he says he's surprised at how little the guys he idolized worked on their game. He's like, I don't want to be like that, so I don't think you're going to pry him out of San Antonio during basketball season. But if you can get out here, you should. It's an incredible atmosphere between these two.
2 wide, as Gulshan Jha not happy with the umpire stretching his arms out. Samir Bandekar gives a bonus run to USA, and it's going to extend the over by 1 legal delivery.
Yeah, again, very marginal. This could have really gone either way.
Well,
I reckon it's probably cut in and then late movement outside the line. And we've seen a couple of close ones. Harmeet Singh wasn't happy with his wide. Gulshan Jha unhappy with this. I think he's got a little bit more say in the matter.
This time it is playable, and it's going to be picked up by the cover sweeper, who will relay it in. Rijan Dakal finishes the over 9 off the bat, 10 in the over. It's 62 for 1 after 7.
Bye-bye.
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा
Cricketer in the United States, young top order batter, where it was a lot of balls wasted, low strike rates but high scores. And since playing more and more minor league cricket, more and more T20 cricket, he started to up the ante, getting those singles, those doubles, and then getting boundaries alongside them.
Sagarnako into the attack. It was tremendous on Thursday night. Didn't take any wickets, but his economy was superb in tying down USA's order at a crucial juncture of the match. Drags this one down, and Mukamala on another day would have been able to yank that past fine leg. Instead, it trickles out to deep square leg for one. Yeah, coming into tonight, strike rate of 145.94 and 7 T20 Is for Mukamala. And that might surprise some people who, like you said, have been following minor league cricket over the course of the first several seasons, because playing for the New Jersey Stallions, batting at number 3, albeit on some thick outfields, not always playing on natural turf, scoring is difficult. And he was somebody who was striking it at about a run a ball. He was not a very quick scorer. But as you said, he's taken some of the lessons learned from playing minor league cricket and adjusted his game. And he hasn't gotten a game yet in Major League Cricket. He's been part of the Texas Super Kings squad for 2 years. All of these performances have come really since the end of Major League Cricket. And you'd like to think, heading into year 3 for Major League Cricket, if he's retained in the Super Kings squad, which we expect he will be, not only will they retain him, I would expect him to make it into the 11 and make an impact on the field for the Super Kings.
Yeah, well, he was the very last pick in that year 1 draft, and I'm sure that's weighing on his mind, but it'll be hard to crack that opening partnership of Faf du Plessis and Devin Conway.
Well, Andres House has cracked this one high and deep over long on. His third 6. And how?
Well, we saw him do something similar to Kusher Bortel when he got too short in match number 1. Sagar Dakal, he's trying to be quicker through the air, but this time it's just stuck in the hands. It's just dipped on him. And Andres House got into position early. And again, that's a shot of liking. When he gets onto the back foot against a spinner, you can just count your blessings, because you're just wondering about how far it's going to go, not if it's going to go to any fielder.
You can get some good steak down here in Texas. That was red meat for Andres House. He gobbled that one up, spit it back out well beyond the rope. He's looking mighty impressive. And another thing that this partnership is making a lot of USA fans think about, Aman, is why did Monak Patel push himself back into the opening role coming back from injury? Because this partnership was mighty successful down in Namibia, opening the batting together in the absence of Monak Patel. And I think a lot of people were under the impression that they would continue with that partnership, even with Monak Patel back healthy. And the way these two are batting together right now, I'm sure it's giving food for thought, not only for the captain, but for Stuart Law, the USA coach. 9 runs in the over, 71 for 1 after 8.
Senior, pizza please. Tata to pizza hanyo. Pizza coming. Pizza.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Momo Mia.
The best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for everyone.
In Grand Prairie, and yeah, a lot of the conversation will be Monak Patel. Does he slide back into the opening role as Gustin Jha continues?
And Simon Kamala continues as well. drives this one and overrunning it. Karen KC nearly turned disastrous. He only gives up one extra run on that occasion, nearly turned into a boundary, but he recovers well enough to keep it to just 2.
Well, we saw Jesse Singh overrun one in the first innings. Karan KC, he's already misfielded one. This won't do his confidence nor the Nepal fans any good. He's able to keep it from trickling to the boundary. A couple of times we've seen that Harmeet Singh in the first innings. Jesse Singh we mentioned. Karan KC, though, on it, keeping it to just the extra run.
A little bit of extra gas on this delivery from Gulshan.
Yeah, you can see the idea here from Mukamala. He's changing where he is on the crease. He'll step out one delivery and the next one. He'll be in, trying to get to the ball. He's typically doesn't step all the way over to that off stump. Typically will step on to middle stump if he does step out at all. And Gulshan Jha has been very clever with the way he's bowled. He's bowled the cutters well. He's used a couple seam-up deliveries. And he's a bright, young cricketer. Both of these two in the middle at the moment.
Change of pace. And he's winning the battle with Mukamala at the moment, keeping the youngster off balance. Very clever bowling here from Gulshan Jha.
Yeah, Mukamala's trying to play this very late through covers, trying to get it in between that sweeper cover and mid-off. But you see that late cut, and again, the change of pace. He's utilized it so well, Gulshan Jha. The big, tall man, he runs them with the head of steam, but his ability to pull the slower one has made him such a valuable asset for this Nepali side that's littered with pace bowlers. You get a guy who can do this in the middle, something the USA maybe lacks. It's such a key value.
Kamala finally plays a release shot out to deep mid-wicket, but he's only going to get one for it. Field alignment for Nepal on the boundary. They've got a deep backward square leg, a deep mid-wicket, a very wide long on. Kushal Bertel out there on the straight boundary. They've got a cover sweeper in place, and then Karen KC is at a very straight long off. And then inside the ring, a fine leg, short third, backward point, extra cover. Nobody in the ring in front of square on the leg side, but that is the short boundary. It's very difficult to tap and get to. House. It's where he got out the other night. This time it bounces short of Irie.
You can see the adjustment from Andres House, though. Again, you saw him very eager to get his hands out this time. Waited on it. You'll see it right here. Again, waited on the cutter, let it get under his eyes, and then use his hands to guide it straight to the ground. But the Pinder Singh Irie is so quick, there's never a run there. There's something that he actually spoke about in between the games, that he never really played against Nepal before. He didn't really know about the class of the fielding, and now you can see a much more concerted effort to not run against Irie.
And they're not going to take on the captain either. Paldo does the fielding. 3 runs in the over. 74 for 1 after 9.
ठाउँको ठाउँ फोन पे डिरेक्ट नगद छोडाऊ फोन पे गरौ
प्राकृतिक राग भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ भारत साउजी
विजयजी बडो स्मार्ट हुनुहुँदो रहेछ क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ मूल्य होइन
मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
हाम्रो
The target 171. And they're much more positive than they were 2 nights ago as Sagadakal begins his second. And Mukamala continues to remain positive, using his feet there. Beaten in flight, but still went through with the shot and collects a single down to the ground.
Yeah, I look at this USA side right now, and they're doing exactly what's asked of them. They're ahead of where Nepal was at this stage. Nepal at the end of 9 were 53 for 1. Let's see the 75 runs on the board now, and it was the surge in over number 12 that got Nepal really ahead of the game. When Gulshan Jha was able to find a couple of boundaries, they jumped from 68 to 84 runs, and if the USA can just keep holding on to this, and this partnership continues to grow, they're going to be in a good platform for an aggressive Milind Kumar, an aggressive Aaron Jones, Shahan Jahangir, who's coming off of brilliant innings. This is the USA team that we've come to know over the last month, Peter.
You can see the way Soccer Doc was bowling. He's targeting the legs. And not on that occasion, and pays the price for it. You can't offer width. Going to the short side of the ground, and Sai Mukamala only too happy to get some on that delivery. Deposits it over extra cover for 6.
And this has been the evolution of Mukamala's game, the ability to have this kind of power on the back foot. He's always been a great timer, but this one is his ability to lift it over the top of cover. So even if he got it too straight to the fielder, it's over the top of him.
Yeah, much better, much tighter to the stumps that time. He's got to keep it very straight, almost on middle and leg stump, because to the leg side for the right-handers at this end, you're hitting to an 82-yard boundary. And if you give it width outside off, it's only 64 yards. That's why it was so easy for him to clear the ropes on the previous delivery. Big appeal. Not out, says Aditya Gajar. And Mukamala, boy, he had a guilty look on his face coming down the wicket. He didn't want to look at the umpire.
Well, I guess your question is, where did it hit him? Because it hit him on the front foot. And that front foot is on leg stump. I think Gudger would just say it's going down. I think it's a good decision in the end, because it is going on with the arm.
Yeah, it's not enough room after it contacted the pad to know where it was going to turn. And it looked like it was just going to continue on with the angle. It's this time much easier. Shot by Mukamala, stroke down the ground for a single. 9 runs in the over. 83 for 1. At the halfway point of this USA chase, in the second match of this Stars and Stripes Summit Series, presented by Steak. We're going to take a drinks break, and we'll be back for the rest of the USA chase.
मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा हाम्रो चाडबाड होन्डाको खुसियाली बारमा जितौं 10 लाखको उपहार यसपालिको चाडबाडमा स्क्रैच कार्ड मार्फत जित्नुहोस् 10 लाखसम्मको नगद उपहार साथै चुज योर स्किमबाट छान्नुहोस् रु 10,000 सम्मको थप स्क्रैच कार्ड वा 12,500 बराबरको 5 वर्ष एएमसी प्याकेज वा 7 वर्षसम्म बाई 1 गेट 1 सर्भिसिङ फ्री अनि बिग बाइक्समा 1 लाखसम्मको डिस्काउन्ट र यो स्किम होन्डा इजी फाइनान्समा पनि लागू हुनेछ।
पैसा पठाऊ ठाउँको ठाउँ फोन पे डिरेक्ट नगद छोडौ फोन पे गरौ।
प्राकृतिक राग भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ भारत साउजी।
विजयजी बडो स्मार्ट हुनुहुँदो रहेछ, क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ, मूल्य होइन।
मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु।
नेपाल र युएसए बीच ऐतिहासिक T20 सिरिज।
पैसा पठाऊ ठाउँको ठाउँ फोन पे डिरेक्ट नगद छोडौ फोन पे गरौ। हाम्रो चाडबाड होन्डाको खुसियाली बारमा जितौं 10 लाखको उपहार यसपालिको चाडबाडमा स्क्रैच कार्ड मार्फत जित्नुहोस् 10 लाखसम्मको नगद उपहार साथै चुज योर स्किमबाट छान्नुहोस् रु 10,000 सम्मको थप स्क्रैच कार्ड वा 12,500 बराबरको 5 वर्ष एएमसी प्याकेज वा 7 वर्षसम्म बाई 1 गेट 1 सर्भिसिङ फ्री अनि बिग बाइक्समा 1 लाखसम्मको डिस्काउन्ट र यो स्किम होन्डा इजी फाइनान्समा पनि लागू हुनेछ।
आज पनि तातो मोमो खाने। No senior. Pizza please. तातो मोमो खाने हो। Pizza coming. क्या भाई? Pizza.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Momo Mia.
The best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut.
In the USA, County 4 TV back in Nepal. The early risers waking up in the morning to watch this contest. The battle between Gulshan Jha and Sai Mukamala continues as Mukamala strokes another single down the ground.
It's been an exciting first two games so far, Peter. This one's setting up to be a really exciting finish. Again, the USA ahead of the game at the moment. But a wicket here for Nepal, and you can just start to make inroads. We've seen for the USA at times, in chases, you just create a couple of wickets. You just create the sense of confusion out there in the middle. They haven't had that real glue in that middle order. A lot of it rests on Anjes Gels and Saitej Mukamala.
Well, they struggled chasing against the Netherlands in August. We're much better at it down in Namibia against Namibia and the UAE. And the two matches they played at this venue in the World Cup in June, that famous chase against Canada, and then a historic win against Pakistan. Can we call that one a successful chase? Because after all, the scores were level. They goofed up a bit at the end. They had that match in the bag, and they tried to make it as dramatic as possible by letting it go to the super over. Nitish Kumar very nearly was going to be the scapegoat. Wound up hitting a boundary off the final ball to send it to the super over. As Mukamala with a very firm drive, but picks out Rijan Dakel, had it cover sweeper for just one. And it took Aaron Jones and Saurabh Netravalkar in the super over to make everybody forget about the final two over sequence that Nitish Kumar had.
I would call it a success, Peter. You won the game. You got to the super over where you wanted. I think that's the key factor. And again, the big thing about the World Cup was that there was a sense of calm out there in the middle in those types of matchups. Again, Nitish Kumar's come in there in a position where he doesn't normally bat. That's more of a Shahin Jahangir spot to bat in. Nitish Kumar, more of a top order player, comes in against Haris Rauf with mid-off up in the ring and gets 4 runs. So that's what's missing right now on this side.
Well, they haven't had to go to the middle order because this partnership between Gauss and Mukamala has been so prodigious for USA over the last month and a half. Yeah, what I remember most about that final over and Nitish Kumar hitting the boundary off Haris Rauf, there was no celebration for him. It was a gigantic gulp in his throat. It was a sigh of relief. Thank God, at least I've kept the match going.
Well, there might not have been celebrations on the field from Nitish Kumar. There was plenty of celebrations off of it for everyone supporting the USA side of things.
Kamala fans on this one wants a wide, doesn't get it. He got the benefit of the doubt earlier against Gulshan Jan. Gulshan's first over in the 7th. This time Samir Bandekar sides with number 15 in the Nepal jersey.
I think Mukamala was undone by the movement he did across his stumps, moved outside the off stump on that occasion, and the wide line moves with the batter, and Samir Bandekar reckoned that it's inside where the wide line now was.
Another heave from Mukamala, fetches nothing. Another dot ball to end the over. 4 runs from it, 87 for 1 after 11.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ starting from just rupees 760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the eSewa app and secure your future today.
Lengths, just creating some difficulty, even with this partnership being worth 83 from 56.
Well, what's impressive for me, he's 18, and you think, oh wow, this is really remarkable for a youngster, and yet he's got a whole lot of experience under his belt as Dipender Singh Irie comes into the attack. 30 ODIs, 36 T20Is at the age of 18. John made his debut against USA. Dipender Singh Irie into the attack for Nepal. Player of the match, taking 3 wickets 2 nights ago. Just going back to the point about Gulshan Jah, one of the amazing things about him, you look at his bio and say he's only 18 and this is remarkable for a youngster, but he's got 3 years of international cricket under his belt. He's played 30 ODIs. This is his 37th T20I for Nepal. He made his debut against USA in that first series after COVID that was held in Oman in September 2021, and then made his T20I debut against the Philippines in that World Cup qualifier in Oman when it was a split global qualifier. But he's showing the value of all those matches. And that's the Nepal way. That's the Nepal philosophy. Rohit Paudel made his debut at 15. And now, Rohit Paudel, he's still in his early 20s, and he's already the captain of his country because he's got 6-7 years of cricket under his belt, which is incredible to think about. Most of these guys have made their debuts as teenagers. And this one is going to go wide of the fielder and beyond the boundary as well. That's an awfully big hit over that 84-yard boundary, but Sai Mukamala times it well enough to get 6, his third of this innings.
Yeah, not the rosy start we saw from Dipender Singh Airi just 2 nights ago. Drags it down a little bit. Mukamala good enough as well. He was planted forward, but was able to transfer his weight late.
This time, muscles it down the ground. He's picked out the man on the boundary. And the pro-Nepal crowd erupts. Kushal Bertel had a spectacular night with the bat. He's continued it with a catch on the long-on boundary to dismiss Mukamala for 47. And this crowd comes back to life for the visitors.
Misses out on what would have been a brilliant half-century Mukamala. He just finds one for 6. He's just trying to muscle it. He hasn't gotten this off the middle of the bat and ends up being the simplest of catches. And look how much it means to Nepal. The crowd erupted. The big fist pump comes out as well as Mukamala goes back for a well-made 47 off of 40. United States, they're 96 for 2 after 12.
दाइ फोन पे चल्छ है चलिहाल्छ नि बस्नुस् अब पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो
पैसा पठाउने र पाउने छिटो सजिलो र सुरक्षित माध्यम फोन पे डिरेक्ट नगद छोडौँ फोन पे गरौँ
Last 10 overs, he's got an opportunity to just kind of play his natural game. And him and Andres Kraus have a tendency to do special things on this ground going back to that World Cup.
Yeah, the forgotten man in that World Cup chase, Andres Kraus. Everybody remembers Aaron Jones' 94 not out of 40, but Andres Kraus was right alongside him for the majority of that chase. And these two come together hoping to conjure up some of that magic on this Grand Prairie Stadium wicket. Meanwhile, Dipender Singh Airi can't seem to do much wrong here in Texas. Took 2 wickets in his first over last night. Wraps up his first over tonight with a wicket. And that was the shot that Andres Kraus fell to a couple nights ago. And boy, oh boy, almost deja vu again. This time, he threads the needle to get 4.
Well, the scorecard will say it's just 4 runs, but Andres Kraus, as he's played it, has almost given a look of desperation, of despair, because it's very nearly carried to that third-man fielder. It's just gone to the left of him, and he's picked up 4 runs. The 100 comes up for the USA as Andres Kraus moves into the 40s. It's been a good knock, but you feel as if the USA were to lose a wicket now, Nepal will be right back in this match.
This time, calmly plays it along the ground to the sweeper for 1. And it'll bring Jones on strike on his 30th birthday. USA vice captain, who played a starring role for the St. Lucia Kings in the CPL final, scoring 48 not out down in Guyana to win the CPL title. Comes into this match having made just 3, a very painstaking 3, before running himself out. And Dipender Singh Airi was involved in that. Jones this time gets off the mark immediately with 1 out to the cover sweeper. Rajan Dakel collects.
Yeah, Peter, he's an exceptional cricketer. This is why he's here, though. You look at Mukamala, he's just looking to muscle it. Irie's gone a little bit flatter, a little bit quicker through the air. He's connected well enough. It's just that Kushal Bartel's in the right place at the right time. Look at the big fist pump as well. Comes out from his countryman just to his right. Again, big moment in the game because Mukamala was really starting to tread on a power-hitting direction.
Slower ball. And Gulshan Jah can't believe it. Difficult chance, but it came straight to him. He's put it down.
It's a chance, and Andres Kels doesn't give you many. You got to take them when they come. Never easy. As a fast bowler, you're falling away to your left. The ball's been struck back to his right. He's stuck out a hand, but he's got a lot of his mitt out there. Again, take a second look at this. Gulshan Jah very nearly pulled off something remarkable. Just hit him straight in the wrist. How big a moment is this?
This time Jones just taps it back. Going back to the wicket, the other remarkable thing about that Mukamala dismissal is the previous ball that he hit for 6. Hit it to the deepest part of the ground. That was an 85-yard hit. And then the next ball, he's going for the straight boundary, which is only 69 yards from what you said on the pitch report. And yet, he couldn't clear it.
Get just a little bit quicker. That was the difference. Didn't get the time to get underneath the ball. The length also a touch fuller. And Mukamala, he did well enough, but really well done by Nepal.
Jones just swats this out to the short boundary at a deep mid-wicket for 1. And that'll wrap up an 8-run over. It's 104 for 2 after 13.
Bye-bye.
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा
Well, it's a festival feel, doesn't it? On a Saturday night under lights. Not the Friday night lights of Texas high school or college football. No, it's all about cricket here tonight in Grand Prairie. 7 overs remain. The game hangs in the balance. As Aaron Jones, who has this little habit, doesn't he, of starting slowly, whether it be in American colours or like we saw in the CPL final recently, he might just put a little bit of pressure on Andrew's house. Andrew Leonard here with Peter Della Penna to guide you through the last 7 overs. Peter, is this going to the final over no matter what from here?
Well, the immediate drama is, will we see a replication of what these two did against Canada, like Ahmad Patel was referencing just before he stepped off the mic, or are we going to see a replication of 2 nights ago when these two teamed up to have Jones run out?
Clipped round the corner, that'll be 4. Not the right line from Sampal Kami. And the easiest of strokes for Jones to get his innings properly underway.
In spite of what he did against Canada when he dismantled the spinners, Jones is somebody who I feel prefer pace on the ball. He likes the ball coming onto the bat with pace, and you see evidence of it right there. Is that one full-length delivery? Really a half volley, just on leg stump, and he shuffles across, just guides it between the keeper and 5 leg to the rope.
Worked into the leg side again. That's the larger boundary out there. Dakal will keep it to a single. Yeah, House and Mukamala were impressive, weren't they? 47 from Mukamala, and House has looked very untroubled in his innings of 43 thus far. After this, Milan Kumar, Shai and Jahangir to come, and then Harmeet Singh kind of into the all-rounders. There is plenty of batting, but they'd like House to be there as late as they can in this chase, USA.
Well, he's been phenomenal since making his debut in April. He's got 5 50s.
Interesting to see Harmeet Singh padded up, Peter, as well, isn't it? Just maybe an indication that Stuart Law wants that flexibility of possibly having the left-hand option earlier than number 7.
Well, not just that, but he's also somebody who can score quickly, whereas Milind Kumar are very similar to Aaron Jones in that they're both players who have a reputation for being slow starters. So if it gets to the 15th, 16th over, by the time one of these two gets dismissed, you'd like Harmeet Singh to come in from the USA perspective, not only because he's a much quicker scorer, but also the left-hand, right-hand aspect.
Round the wicket now, and this floods into the pad. It surely is going to have pitched outside leg, but the umpire says no. The finger goes up, and Aaron Jones cannot believe it. It's close to impossible to get one from around the wicket unless it straightens. Unless the umpire's saying it's pitched on leg, then it's going to go on and hit off. Big moment in the match here. Jones adjudged LBW.
Well, there was plenty of noise on social media the other night. We'll try and get the wicket delivery coming up. But there was plenty of noise on social media about the umpiring decisions that went almost entirely one way in USA's favor Thursday night. That doesn't appear to be the case here. Aaron Jones out for 7. It's 110 for 3.
1, 2, 5, go!
Bye-bye.
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा.
And clip that one and put it on social media after all the complaints they had on Thursday night, because that one is one. It'll be a long time before they get an LBW decision that generous in their favor again. I'll tell you that much, Lenny.
Milind Kumar to the crease. Now, he's someone who is known as starting a bit slowly. When the outside edge is beaten, all of a sudden the Nepal fans who are outnumbering the USA ones by a margin in Grand Prairie are living and breathing every ball. 14 overs bowled. It's 110 for 3.
Tato Wuhan. No, senor. Picture, please. Tato Wuhan. It's the picture coming. Picture.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Momo Mia.
The best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for everyone.
It's Canada at this venue, the hero in the CPL final less than a couple of weeks ago. St. Lucia lifted the title. He's been adjudged LBW from a decision that, as you rightly said, Peter Della Penna, there was a lot of Nepal fans not too pleased 48 hours ago, but they definitely, well, there's no doubt about it, they've got one going in their favour here with the big wicket of Jones. Rijan Dakal is going to bowl his 4th, the 15th over of the match. That will be his final one, and it's set up perfectly, isn't it? 10 runs per over required.
That was not the birthday gift that Aaron Jones was expecting from Aditya Gajar. I'll tell you that much. Just watch this. Subal Kami has blown out the candles on Aaron Jones' innings, and he's saying, wait, this is my birthday. What are you doing?
Not quite the 30th birthday present that Aaron Jones would have wanted. Interesting call this, isn't it, from Rohit Powdell to go with Dakal here. It's probably an indication that we're not going to see Kushal Bertel or Rohit Powdell himself bowl tonight. And Dipender Singh Irie's already bowled the 1. So when is he going to be used? Is Irie going to bowl over 16, 18 and 20? Is he the death bowling option?
I'm surprised to see Rijan Dakal in here. And yeah, are they holding Irie back for 16, 18, 20? If they're going to bowl him out, that's going to be what he has to do. As you can see, a deep backward square deep mid-wicket, long on, long off, and a cover sweeper, the 5 boundary riders for Nepal at the moment.
And they're going to run a single here, and it's just as well it's not Dipender Singh Airi at cover where he so often is. It's Karen KC. Yeah, a lot of protection in the deep on the leg side, isn't there? He might get away with bringing Rijan Dakal back because of the fact that there's a new man at the crease, but I agree with you. Is it the right call?
Well, time will tell. Everything seems to be going Nepal's way this week, though, Lenny, including that last WW decision. I'm laughing. Aaron Jones definitely isn't laughing in the USA dugout. It was so absurd.
What Nepal will try to do here is bowl as few deliveries as possible in the 5 overs that follow this one to Andries House. If they can starve him of strike, bowl to Kumar or the subsequent batters that might follow him should he get out, that may well give Nepal a window to a 2-0 series lead.
Again, the other thing to analyze here, did they make the right decision sending in Milan Kumar? I feel like I said if it happened after the 15th over, I would have advocated for Harmeet Singh to come in. It happened in the 14th. So you can maybe understand why they've gone for Milan. And this is another reason why, because he's a very quick runner between the wickets, very sharp running to turn that into 2, and a sharp relay has zinged Asif Sheikh in an area of the gloves that doesn't have much padding.
Well, it's a good identification for the second from USA of who the fielder was. Nepal have some exceptional fielders. The likes of Bertel, Dipender Singh Airi, Rohit Paudel are all so quick. Anil Shah is a keeper by trade. He's just not quite of that same standard. Now, direct hit might have been close or very nearly out, but I think it was a pretty well judged 2. There's no way they would have got 2 there to Airi or to Paudel.
And they've got the faster fielders on the deeper side of the ground, the east side, which is the 82-yard boundary, because those are the areas of the ground where they want to try and cut off the second. They've got, as you said, Lenny, a slower fielder on that short side of the ground because, from the Nepal perspective, I think they thought a 2 was far more difficult to take, far less likely, and yet that's what made it so impressive from Milan Kumar. 2s are very difficult to get on that short side of the ground, the west side of the ground, where you've got a 64-yard boundary, and yet he took off and made it by a yard to spare.
Well, Peter, I just took my little stint off there for the 5 or 6 overs to have a wander in and amongst the crowd, and it is fair to say the Nepal fans are enjoying their Saturday night. We are also seeing a big moment here because it's going to be a no ball, and we believe that this is for a fielding decision. There's boos from the crowd. Possibly one of the fielders who was on the edge of the 30-yard circle was adjudged to have been out of the 30-yard circle. So what was a good result for Nepal with a dot ball has now turned into a no ball and a free hit to follow. Another moment of controversy.
I think it was Gulshan Jha at backward point.
Well, it's hit to KC. He's not going to go for the catch because it was a free hit. So it's only cost 1 additional run, but there will be another ball to follow. How could either of the 2 umpires have seen that he was out of the circle from their position?
Well, that's what Gulshan Jha wants to know, because he was waving his arms like, how could you call a fielding restriction no ball? He's claiming he was inside the ring. Samir Bandekar and Aditya Gajar clearly felt otherwise, and maybe that's a slight, ever so slight evening of decisions on the night, because the Aaron Jones LBW decision.
Now, this is slashed away into the offside, not going to carry, and they'll just take the singles. So the final over of Dakal isn't necessarily the worst for Nepal, but USA still have this target in their sights. 15 have been bowled. It's 118 for 3.
ठाउँको ठाउँ फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौ फोन पे गरौ
प्राकृतिक राग भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ भारत साउजी
विजयजी बडो स्मार्ट हुनुहुँदो रहेछ क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ मूल्य होइन
मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
हाम्रो चाडबाड औजाको खुसियाली
The amount of seam that Rohit Powdell is favouring. He does have plenty of part-time spin options, the likes of Kushal Bertel and himself, even though there is no Kushal Malla in the team. He seems to think as though the pace on the ball is the way to go. As Sampal Kami is going to continue. So that means that Dipender Singh Ari now can't bowl his allocation. Strange choice, or do you feel it's the right one given the conditions?
Well, if you're Sampal Kami and you're Rohit Powdell, you're going to say, hey, if you got that LBW decision against Jones bowling around the wicket, might as well keep him on and keep on bowling around the wicket. You never know. Might get another.
Yeah, certainly we always try to be fair and call things as we see them here. And we also try to understand the umpires only get one look, but that decision of LBW bemused us. As a misfield from Arif Sheikh is going to cost 1 run, not going to cost 3. They would have got the single anyway, but it just burst through his hands.
That's a fielding moment from the Nepal of at least a decade ago. A while back, they were not the sharpest fielding side in associate cricket. Their fielding standards have risen dramatically in recent years, and that's a callback to the not-so-good days of Nepal cricket fielding-wise.
No ball. And this time, it may be for a front foot overstep. I don't think it was a back foot no ball, but the call was immediate from Aditya Gujar, and it's the second no ball in 2 overs, and the free hit will follow.
And crucially for USA, it's going to be Andres House who faces the free hit. And he's on 48, looking to bring up what would be a 6th half century in T20Is for USA. And he looks odds on to get there on this delivery.
Just be a single, hit down to long on. We don't know, is it a front foot or a back foot no ball, but the call was immediate from Aditya Gujar.
Well, USA, in the last 2 overs, they've had 2 free hits, and they've only been able to get 2 singles off of them. So that is a victory for Nepal in the context of this stage of the match. Great damage limitation by the bowlers.
Slapped down the ground. Anil Shah is going to have work to do, and when he does enough, he'll concede a second. Just wonder, is there a little bit of dew out there, Peter? A couple of slips and fumbles, and we see the towel hanging out of the back of Sampal Kami's trousers. 2 nights ago, there was close to no dew. Is it coming in tonight?
Well, the indications are there. As Kami, again, making an adjustment, taking off some sort of extra bandage or strapping that he had on that right leg.
You just got a second look at that no ball on my screen here, Peter. It certainly wasn't a back foot no ball. It must have been a front foot indiscretion, as this is pulled away and pulled for 4. The pace on the ball is going the distance. Cannot understand the lack of spin for Nepal, but it's a fine stroke from Milan Kumar. The first boundary of the over.
Well, the only thing I can argue for this strategy is that Milan Kumar is an exceptional player of spin. He's an outstanding judge of length against spin. And maybe they felt pace was the better way to go with him at the crease, but he's proven that wrong with shots like that. Too short, latches onto it and gives it a tennis racket backhand swat over wide long on.
Definitely has USA back in charge of this chase. A little inside edge may bring about a second. You've spoken about how quick Kumar is, and he'll take on the fielder and get home comfortably. That over belongs to America, and with 16 bowled, it's 132 for 3.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ starting from just ₹760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the eSewa app and secure your future today.
If you're a fan of having a little action, if you're a fan of steak, and this steak stars in Summit Series, if you were to look at steak right now, the Duckworth-Lewis is an indication of where the odds are at any state of the game, and USA are favorites right now ahead of Duckworth-Lewis. And unless something goes catastrophically wrong with the amount of firepower they have both at the crease and in reserve, with Jahangir and Harmeet Singh yet to come, it looks like USA is on course to level the series and set up a decider tomorrow night.
Yeah, which would be the perfect end to this inaugural series. But the lack of spin from a country and a nation that is known in its short cricketing history, only been playing international cricket for about 30 years. They are known as prodigious spinners of the ball. Tonight, they've barely bowled any. Remarkably, just 3 overs of spin. It'll be Karen KC to bowl the 17th. And Andries House will get to another T20 I-50. And it's come off 35 deliveries. It was off the queue end of the bat. What a start he has had to international cricket, signed by the Bakara Avengers now too in the Nepal Premier League. It's a 6th T20 I-50 in just his 22nd match. Peter, he's almost already the leading run scorer in this format for USA, and it's going to be a matter of time now before he overtakes Stephen Taylor.
Extraordinary start to his career. That began in April. 3 50s against Canada, 1 against South Africa in the World Cup, and then 1 in Namibia just the start of the month.
Hit towards the man at cover and taken. It's another twist. With Nepal, there's always a twist. And the cardiac kids have the pulses racing back in Kathmandu again. And it's Karen KC who sends Milan Kumar back. Excellent cover, diving forward from Rijan Dakal.
Small margins can make a big difference. I wasn't sure if this was going to carry. Sometimes fielders stay on their heels for this, but Rijan Dakal lunging forward from the edge of the ring, had no hesitation coming forward for that delivery. It was flat, it was low, but he made sure it carried. Milan Kumar goes for 15. USA 133 for 4 in the 17th.
Jobless. Picture coming. Picture.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Momo Mia.
The best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for
his
everyone.
favour with Andries House still at the crease. He's got 50 off 35. But they've got a new man to bowl to. That's Shaihan Jahangir. And Karen KC, who's had a really good tour of North America. Nepal were in Canada before this, playing ODIs and T20s, and alongside Gulshan Jah, KC was the pick of the bowlers. He's done it again. Now, can Jahangir get going early, or can he at least get House on strike? He'll do the latter. How much pressure will Andries House feel right now, Peter?
Not a lot, because he's somebody who's got a very calm demeanor. When he made those 50s against Canada, when he made that 50 in the World Cup against South Africa, you ask him, how are you able to do it so easily? And he just shrugs his shoulders and he says, it's cricket, mate. Come on. It's not that hard. Like, he just has a very relaxed, very matter-of-fact approach. He doesn't get overwhelmed. This is his kind of situation.
37 to win off 21. It's a slower ball. Good skills from KC taking the pace off. Yeah, there's some in South Africa that say that if it wasn't for Quinton de Kock, he may well have actually played for South Africa. He was that highly thought of back in the land of his birth, but having taken a chance at a change in life, like so many of the players who've come across to America, to their new home, he's really embraced things here. He's been outstanding simply sensational, in fact, in domestic cricket across both minor league, now major league, and he's a real burgeoning star. Heaved into the leg side behind square, great innovation. There's no one at square leg, either in the circle or in the deep, and Jahangir exploits that ruthlessly.
Well, he was clearly aiming for the leg side because you've got a very wide, deep mid-wicket and a long on, but there's an awful lot of real estate on the boundary on that side of the ground. I don't think he meant to get it this fine. Got more of the inside half of the bat than out of the middle, but it wound up working out in Shayan Jahangir's favor.
Remarkably, Peter, he's bowling to a 6-3 field here. I don't think I've ever seen this before, right towards the death. There's only 3 fielders on the leg side. There's 2 men in the circle on the offside at sort of a short third. He's going to try and do the same again here. Instead, he goes over the offside. Yeah, there's a long off out there, but it's over his head. What a shot that is! Put down in the crowd. An exceptional strike from Shayan Jahangir has swung the game heavily in USA's favour, and the Stars and Stripes are flying high.
The USA chants are being countered in the crowd. The Nepal fans going silent. The model no longer drumming in the crowd. Shayan Jahangir with that 6 to end the over. 145 for 4 after 17.
चलिहाल्छ नि बस्नुस् अब पैसा भन्ने कुरा जुन बेला पनि चाहिन सक्छ ठाउँको ठाउँ पैसा पठाउन मिल्ने फोन पे त मेरो लागि एकदमै सजिलो उपाय हो
पैसा पठाउने र पाउने छिटो सजिलो र सुरक्षित माध्यम फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौं फोन पे गरौं
Come on, you got to use your hands, not your head.
I think it was the shoulder. I don't think it was the face. I think it's into the shoulder, the hoodie.
It wasn't the face. There. I thought it was the top of the head. It got the hat. He's maybe got a bruise being covered up.
Sagar Dakal to bowl the 18th. Still no Dipender Singh Iree, and it deflects off Shayan Jahangir. Is Dipender Singh Iree being underutilised again by Nepal with bat and with ball? He was a player of the match in the first game. He's only bowled 1 over, which had a wicket in it in this second T20I.
Well, you say he's being underutilised. I don't know why Sagar Dakal was only bowling his 3rd over in the 18th. He was their unsung hero 2 nights ago, and I'm scratching my head as to why he was taken off after his 2nd over in the 10th and not brought back until now. It's not just Iree, it's their entire spin arsenal that's been relegated to the background here in this chase.
An audible hush descends upon the ground. Fans know exactly how critical this over is. That's hit through the offside. Really good stroke. Arif Sheikh fields excellently. Cuts off the boundary, but House gets back for the 2nd, even though it's to the shorter side. Every run counts here. It's now 23 to win off 16.
Anal is on the straight boundary at long off. They've got Kushal Patel took a catch earlier at long on, still stationed there. Arif Sheikh is at a very wide cover sweeper, almost extra cover sweeper. Then they've got a deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square leg on that very deep 82-yard boundary on the east side of the ground.
It appears as though dew is clearly a factor tonight. The players having to dry the ball regularly. This time it'll just be a single again. It's out to that extra cover sweeper, which Arif Sheikh does the work. House is devastating against spin. I think that's one of the reasons we haven't seen as much of Sagar Dakal as we did 2 days ago. The field is spread. Lots of protection in the deep and the leg side. Long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square. Only fine leg, short fine leg in the circle on the leg side. And the 3 men on the offside are all square of the wicket. Down the ground, and that's going to be all the way. And USA, they can see the finishing line now. The gamble to bowl Dakal as late as the 18th is not paid off. And House's dominance against spin is on show yet again.
USA, the chant goes up again. The Stars and Stripes are fluttering And the ball is doing more than fluttering off the bat of Andri's house. It's thudding into the sight screen. He's been imperious. That's his fourth six, first one since the eighth over. And what a time for it to arrive for USA.
Tries to repeat the dose, but this time doesn't get it, and Kushal Bertel will do the fielding. Do you feel this has been a second innings that it's always easy with hindsight, has maybe been mismanaged a touch by Nepal with their bowling options?
Well, you could say so, based on the success they had Thursday night.
Picked up into the leg side. Now he's got a really good piece of this, but Dipender Singh Airi is out there, and he's not going to drop that. It's such a large boundary, it's incredibly difficult to clear, and Jahangir, he holds out to give us maybe another late twist as Sagar Dakal has his first wicket today.
Well, the sun and red moon, now they're flying. The model is thumping in the crowd. The drums alive. It was there to hit. But as you said, Lenny, you're going to have to clear 82 yards on that side of the ground tonight. We've seen some guys able to do it. Shine Jahangir not able to on that occasion. Airi, the most dependable of Nepalese fielders, latches onto it. Jahangir out for 14. And USA and the 18th at 156 for 5. They need 15 off the last 2 out balls.
फोन पे डिरेक्ट नगद छोडाऊ फोन पे गरौँ
प्राकृतिक राग भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ भारत साउजी
विजयजी बडो स्मार्ट हुनुहुँदो रहेछ क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ मूल्य होइन
मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
हाम्रो चाडबाड
Final, it's 15 to win off 12. The new man's at the non-striker's end. As Andri's house continues along his merry way, can he get back on strike? No, he can't, because the fielding is clean, and it will bring the new man onto strike. Is this a little window for Nepal to maybe pull off a victory from nowhere here? USA, they only need 14 to win off 11.
Harmeet Singh, he's had some very successful cameos for USA with the bat in his brief T20I career. This is his 21st innings, average of 22.61. Check that, average of 18.58 in 16 innings now. I was looking at his bowling stats above his batting stats. He's got a strike rate of 145, though. He can score quickly. All he needs really is singles to get Gauss back on strike, though.
A little slower ball. He might get more than that. He should get 2 because it's the longer boundary on the leg side. And even though it's Dipender Singh Airi, it was weighted perfectly. And that's good knowledge and use of the conditions that I mentioned of the ground. A couple to get Harmeet Singh off the mark.
Well, again, he's a big 6 hitter. As I said, you don't need 6s here. 12 from 10 with all that expansive real estate on the leg side for the left-hander on the east side of the ground. He just needs to repeat that tap and run shot 4 more times in this over, and they'll be, with the equation, having more balls than runs required.
It's a Yorker. It's it down towards long off. And it's taken. Rohit Patel sends the Nepal fans into ecstasy. And it's another late twist. The attempted Yorker turned into a low full toss, and Harmeet Singh could have hit it anywhere. And all he's done is hit it down the throat of Nepal's captain.
Lenny, I can't believe what I've just seen. We were just talking about all he needs to do is tap 1s and 2s. He's going for glory here. And when you get a low full toss, it can be very difficult to get underneath it. And that's what we've just seen. And it's almost deja vu of the tied match in Pearland with Aaron Jones. All he needed to do was tap a single. He went for glory, caught on the boundary. Harmeet has almost repeated that in exact fashion. He's out for 2. USA 159 for 6. with 9 balls left.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ starting from just rupees 760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the eSewa app and secure your future today.
The fans here in Texas, they're mainly chanting Nepal, Nepal. They're on their feet. 9 deliveries remain, 12 to win. Jesse Singh is the new man to the crease, and he's on strike. Given as a wide, and KC can't believe it because he's saying that Jesse Singh has come across his crease and the wide guideline should go with it.
Well, he's got a point. It's a call that could have gone either way. Jesse Singh, as you said, was walking across, premeditated, well before Karen KC delivered that ball, and the wide guidelines is supposed to shift with the striker. That one goes in USA's favor, though.
Big call, makes it 11 off 9 instead of 12 off 8. Goes across again, gets something on it, and there is a man out there. I think they're just going to be satisfied with the single because it'll get House on strike. Gulshan Jah does really well out at deep backward point. Low 22, Peter. The guideline should go if the batter goes with it. Now, did Jesse Singh go enough to mean that shouldn't have been given as a wide?
Well, Samir Bandikar didn't think so. It gets very tricky, very ambiguous, because when the batter moves, that blue painted line doesn't move with him. You don't have that same visual guideline in a set position, and it just becomes a judgment call.
Well, how good's that fan in the cable knit jumper? Sliced away. 2 men out there. They'll converge upon it. Will they be able to stop the second? They might. There's chaos out there. Jesse Singh turns down the second. He says to Andrew's House, I can't hear you. And Dipendra Singh Airi involved again. Nearly creates a run-out chance. It's only 1 run to the total.
Well, you don't need to hear him. You have to have the knowledge of how deep that throw is. I don't care how good a fielder Dipendra Singh Airi is. That's an 82-yard throw. The second is on. The amount of distance he had to cover laterally, moving from left to right, that's an automatic 2. You take 1 for the throw 7 days a week. And I'm not sure what is going on in Jesse Singh's head that he didn't turn and run and respond to Andrew's House. There's no need to wait for a yes or no or a 2-2-2. You just go in that situation.
Well, now this has to be a free hit. They need House on strike in the final ball. 2, 4, or 6 USA want. And they may well get it because Dipendra Singh Airi will hair around, but he won't be able to stop the second. He will cut off the 4. It's a good result for USA. They get 2. House is on strike. It's all going down to the 20th and final over. It's 164 for 6.
Bye-bye.
Introducing new Honda Dio 125.
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा.
I agree with it, but based on the strategy they've employed, I'm not surprised. It's hard to look away from Dipendra Singh Airi with how he's performed with the ball over the course of these 2 matches, but Rohit Paladil has got a very clear plan in mind. He's stubbornly sticking to it. He's gone with pace. He's continuing to go with pace here. Sampokami is going to come around the wicket, try and angle it across to negate any chance Jesse Singh has to free the arms.
Well, it all comes down to these final 6 balls. USA, they need just 7 to win. And House is on strike, and that could be the best possible result for Nepal. It's a single. It means the new man to the crease, Jesse Singh, who is capable with the bat, no doubt. He's going to have the pressure of this series on his shoulders. He'll be on strike. It's 6 to win off 5.
Well, Jesse is the longest tenured player in this USA squad. Made his debut in 2015. He's going to have to call upon all of that experience to finish off this chase alongside Andries House.
Five balls left. Good batting from Jesse Singh. I think they'll just take the single. They're going to take on the second. Could be a run-out chance if it was picked up cleanly. And it's not. It's fumbled by Arif Sheikh. Not for the first time today either. Big moment in the match. Should they have taken the second?
Yes! Which is what they should have done the previous over, because again, it's 82 yards out there. That side of the ground, the east side of the ground, it's such a long way to run, such a long way to throw. You've got to put the pressure on the field. That's what they should have done in the previous over. They learned from their conservative mistake in the 19th. They take on the second because, again, USA's got 4 wickets in hand. If they get run out there, so be it. Jesse Singh took the gamble, put the pressure on Arif Sheikh, who, as you said, has not been at his best in the field tonight, and it pays off.
Changing the field. The man who was at cover, Gulshan Jazz, come in to kind of try and plug that gap. He's come into a square leg, almost saving the single. USA are just a boundary away. Any boundary will do. Even an edge. Big gap between the keeper and that short third. 4 to win off 4. That's where the ball goes. It will be a single. Dakal wisely chooses not to throw it. It means that House could put the finishing touches on this match now. 3 to win off 3. Surely Nepal need a wicket, and they need it this ball.
Well, Andries House has had a lot of runs in his USA career so far, especially in T20 cricket. But he hasn't really had a signature moment, and this could be it. He's taken them all the way up to the finish line. Can he get them across the finish line is the question. And he's telling Jesse Singh, leave it to me. We'll get us across the line from here. Can he do it, though?
3 to win off 3. Kami to House. Hit in the air towards long on. Kushal Bertel is out there. He takes the catch. Nepal have life. Can they pull the rabbit from the hat? House, the set man, is gone. He can't believe what he's done. And it's all going to go down to the last 2 balls now.
Well, he tried to finish it off in 1 ball. But USA are going to need those last 2 deliveries if they're going to get across the line here. House, that signature moment, is going to have to wait for another day because he tried to clear that very deep boundary on the leg side. It's an 80-plus yard hit to that side of the ground, but Kushal Bertel with his second catch in that position tonight, and House stunned. USA still need 3 to win off the last 2 balls.
House gone for 62, 168 for 7. And Peter, you are not going to believe who's coming in at number 9. I'm not sure who writes these scripts for the associate game, the game that we love. It's that man. It's the pantomime villain. It's Ali Khan.
ठाउँको ठाउँ फोन पे डिरेक्ट नगद छोडाऊ फोन पे गरौ
प्राकृतिक राग भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ धारा साउजी
विजयजी बडो स्मार्ट हुनुहुँदो रहेछ क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ मूल्य होइन
मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
हाम्रो चाडबाड
We will potentially send this to a super over, Lenny. You don't need boundaries. Ali Khan, if you needed 6 to win at this situation, I would send in Ali Khan. I don't necessarily agree with this. I would have sent in Kenjagir Netravalkar just to guarantee you're going to get bat on ball.
The crowd are reaching fever pitch. It's 3 to win off 2. It's an inside edge. It's going to be at least one. Will they think of a second? No, they won't. KC does the fielding. Ali Khan's maybe done his job. He's handed it over to Jesse Singh. And this Stake Stars and Summits trophy, the fate of it all comes down to the final delivery of this second T20I. 2 to win for USA. Any wicket or a dot for Nepal. 1 sends us to a super over.
Well, Ali Khan has been in this situation before. If you remember to Antigua in November 2021, it was him and Rusty Turan who were together at the crease for the final ball when Canada had a brain fade. And the pair of them ran a couple byes to send the match into a super over. Ali Khan is going to need to recall on that experience to make sure he runs here to guarantee anything. A single, a bye, whatever it takes to just get that one run at the minimum to stretch this into a super over. 1 to tie for USA, 2 to win with Jesse Singh on strike. They've been in these situations before. Ali Khan has very directly been in this situation before 3 years ago. And Jesse Singh is going to be the man who's got to get USA at least to the line, if not over the line.
Well, there's fielders running everywhere. There was a huge conflab between the captain and some of the senior players. Sampal Kami, he was the one who's been given the faith of the captain to bowl this final over. It all comes down to the final ball. He's done a wonderful job to now. It's 2 to win. 1 sends us to the super over. A dot or a wicket wins it for Nepal. Here we go. It's a short ball. It's pulled into the deep. They'll get the 1. It's Dipendra Singh Airi. The throw comes in. It's on the bounce. It's a run out. And we're going to the super over all the way. We can't separate them in normal time. And the fans, they're loving every second. And fittingly, it's Dipendra Singh Airi's throw that runs it out for the second. Not quite Lords in 2019, but we have a super over under the Saturday night floodlights in Grand Prairie.
Well, you want to put your best fielder in that position. That was most likely where it was going to go with that ball that Sampal Kami bowled. He bowled it short on purpose. He was playing for a drag into the leg side. He got what he wanted. He got it straight to the fielder he wanted it to go to. And Ali Khan did his job. He bolted like there was no tomorrow from the non-strikers, and he got back comfortably for the second. But Jesse Singh was just struggling to get the momentum going after playing the shot, and he was never going to get back for that second run. And it means we've got bonus cricket, Lenny.
Well,
नेपाल र युएसए बीच ऐतिहासिक T20 सिरिज यही कार्तिक 2, 4 र 5 गते बिहान 5 बजेदेखि मात्र कान्तिपुर म्याक्स र डिजिटल प्लेटफर्महरूमा ब्रट टु यु बाई
मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ यी सेवा
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
पैसा पठाऊ ठाउँको ठाउँ फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडौ फोन पे गरौ
हाम्रो चाडबाड औटाको खुसियाली बारमा
Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for everyone.
ई सेवासँग मनाउनुहोस् महाउत्सव। यसपालि दशैं तिहारमा ई सेवाबाट जुनसुकै कारोबार गर्दा कार जित्ने मौका। यो चाडपर्व गर्नुहोस् ई सेवाबाट कारोबार, चढ्नुहोस् नामीको दामी कार। साथमा आइफोन 16 र हात खाली नहुने उपहार। असोज 1 देखि कार्तिक 30 सम्म ई सेवाबाट जति धेरै कारोबार त्यति नै धेरै उपहार। हजारौं लकी विनर्सले जित्न सक्नुहुनेछ वीकली र मन्थली क्याशब्याक्स, भाउचर्स, डिस्काउन्ट्स र अरु टन्नै अफरहरू। आजैदेखि टप अप, फ्लाइट टिकट्स, होटल बुकिङ, बिल पेमेन्ट्स र क्यूआर पेमेन्ट जस्ता सबै कारोबार ई सेवाबाट गरौँ।
हाम्रो चाडबाड
जितौं 10 लाखको उपहार। यसपालिको चाडबाडमा स्क्रैच कार्ड मार्फत जित्नुहोस् 10 लाखसम्मको नगद उपहार। साथै चुज योर स्किमबाट छान्नुहोस् रु 10,000 सम्मको थप स्क्रैच कार्ड वा 12,500 बराबरको 5 वर्ष एएमसी प्याकेज वा 7 वर्षसम्म बाई 1 गेट 1 सर्भिसिङ फ्री अनि बिग बाइक्समा 1 लाखसम्मको डिस्काउन्ट। र यो स्किम होन्डा इजी फाइनान्समा पनि लागू हुनेछ।
Both sides now must select 3 batters and 1 bowler to play a single additional over each that is going to determine the winner of this match. There are no ties, and remember, we have the potential for multiple super overs in case there is a tie. So USA have elected to go, it looks like, with Andreas House and Shaihan Jahangir. And the way it works, the team that is fielding, they stay out there. So USA will bat again. And then there will be a number 3. The interval between the super, only 5 minutes. They will bat these 6 balls, and then the 2 sides will switch over. And then Nepal will come out with their 3 batters. If there are 2 wickets, the super over will be ended short of the 6 balls. And whatever they get, Nepal will have to try and get past. And interestingly, having bowled the final over, the 20th and final, Nepal are going to stick with their man, Sampal Kami, again. And they can also choose which end it is bowled from. So obviously Nepal, with the 2 right-handers at the crease walking out, they're going to go with this same end of the ground.
I disagree with sending Shaihan Jahangir in. If you remember back to the super over that USA had against Pakistan, they had Harmeet Singh in there with Aaron Jones. And a big reason why was because they wanted a left-right combo. If they put in Harmeet Singh with Andres House here, you have a left-hand, right-hand combo, and that helps negate the short side, long side boundary discrepancy. Nepal is facing 2 right-handers here, so they've set the field to bowl to that long side boundary where they've got extra protection. It's a lot tougher to score boundaries on that side. If you have a left-hander in there and Harmeet Singh, that neutralizes that in a big way for Nepal. I don't agree with this strategy going into the Super Bowl for USA, and I wonder, is Harmeet Singh going to be the 3rd guy should one of these 2 get out?
Well, here we go. Sampal Kami will bowl to Shaihan Jahangir. Get those graphics corrected. We've got House on strike in them, but it's a single to start with, as Anil Sad is the fielding. Remarkably, Peter, this isn't the first tie between these 2 sides, and it's not even the first tie between these 2 sides in Texas, because 2 years ago, you and I were both there in June in Pearland at the Moosa Stadium. It was 2-7-4, played 2-7-4. Tonight, that was in an ODI. That ended up as a tie. There was no super over. We're going to have a victor either way, even if it's going to take multiple super overs.
Well, this is your first super over. First tied match between these 2 sides.
Hit away into the leg side. That's a good result for Nepal. Only a single. Dipender Singh Ari, the fielder.
I seem to remember you were a little bit under the weather on that tied match. It was me and Ahmed Patel who were on the call that day, Lenny.
They were COVID times, Peter. The less said about them, the better.
I'm glad you're 100% for this occasion, Lenny. But the fans who are here tonight, they're catching cricket fever in a big way, Lenny. Yeah. I wonder if all those people leaving the Kevin Hart show, they might want an encore in Grand Prairie Stadium.
Fill it up. They're loving every second. 2 off, 2 balls. Our graphics just a tiny bit incorrect. Bowls him straight through. And listen to that roar. Sampal Kami is holding his nerve at the death. And Nepal are sensing a win for the ages, pulling it out of the fire. USA in real trouble halfway through this super over.
Well, again, I disagree.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ starting from just ₹760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the eSewa app and secure your future today.
Over.
Well, quite remarkable. What a feast and a treat we've been given here on a Saturday night in Texas. An atmosphere that's quite unforgettable, as Aaron Jones is the one who's chosen to walk to the crease. A chance at redemption for him after what was an LBW decision that he clearly didn't agree with.
Well, I said earlier the candles were blown out by Sompo Kami. Is Sompo gonna kick the candles over now?
On his 30th birthday, Aaron Jones has 3 balls to work with. And he heaves it into the leg side. Dipendra Singh Airi is out there! USA in the Super Over. They have only 2 on the board. And Sampal Kami is the hero for Nepal. Surely they're going to go 2-0 up in this series now.
Party pooper for Aaron Jones and the home side here. What bowling by the veteran. He tried to clear that huge boundary, and again, this is why I feel like they should have had Harmeet Singh in there. Having the right-handers try and clear that huge 82-yard boundary is just asking for trouble. If they get a left-hander in there and Harmeet Singh, I don't think they would have had such a calamity in the Super Over.
What an extraordinary turnaround and turn of events. With 6 balls left, USA only needed 7. Sampal Kami's bowled the next 9, including the Super Over. He's only conceded 8 runs, and he's picked up 3 wickets. Exceptional bowling from one of Nepal's very best. And with all those concerns and worries over their death bowling, it feels like Nepal are on the precipice of doing something incredibly special here, beating a fine American side on their home soil in this inaugural Stake Stars and Summits trophy. The Super Over ends with those 2 wickets. USA have only 2 to defend.
Well, and if you recall the Super Over that USA bowled against Pakistan, Sarbnesh Avolkar bowled it because he had plenty of runs to defend. In this situation, I feel like you got to go with Ali Khan. You need somebody who could blast out the stumps. Sarbnesh.
हाम्रो चाडबाड औटाको खुसियाली बारमा जितौं 10 लाखको उपहार यसपालिको चाडबाडमा स्क्रैच कार्ड मार्फत जित्नुहोस् 10 लाखसम्मको नगद उपहार साथै चुज योर स्किमबाट छान्नुहोस् रु 10,000 सम्मको थप स्क्रैच कार्ड वा 12,500 बराबरको 5 वर्ष एएमसी प्याकेज वा 7 वर्षसम्म बाई 1 गेट 1 सर्भिसिङ फ्री अनि बिग बाइक्समा 1 लाखसम्मको डिस्काउन्ट र यो स्किम होन्डा इजी फाइनान्समा पनि लागू हुनेछ।
पैसा पठाऊ ठाउँको ठाउँ फोन पे डाइरेक्ट नगद छोडाऊ फोन।
We're going to see if we can bring you those 2 wickets from the Super Over. Here is the second one of them. Is it rather fitting, Peter, that Dipendra Singh Airi it was on the final ball in regulation time who affected the run out, and then he also took the catch. Here's the 2 wickets back to back. That was the first one, a little feather of an outside edge, and then fittingly Dipendra Singh Airi in the deep doing what he does yet again.
Well, he's making a strong play for player of the series here, Lenny. Player of the match yesterday, and he's been a magnet for the ball here at the tail end of this match. Ran in for the run out to end regulation, and now cements the second wicket of the Super Over with that catch at deep mid wicket again. And Sampal Kami, you can't wipe the smile off his face.
Well, Peter, if you know Sampal Kami and Karen Casey, they are thick as thieves. They are the best of pals. They do everything together, and they have been the most remarkable servants for their nation. They very rarely don't have a smile on their face, and at times they've come in for a lot of criticism from the Nepal fans because they have had their problems at the death. But against a much vaunted USA side, we heard Rohit Powdell talk at the toss about this is an American team that have beaten Pakistan, that have beaten Bangladesh. They're acutely aware of how good USA are, but here on American soil, albeit with very much a Nepali feel, with the exceptional numbers of Nepal fans that have turned out to support their heroes, they're right on the brink of doing something very special. Because USA, well, they look run ragged, don't they? They look like they're defeated before they even walk out for this second half of the Super Over.
Well, that tied match 274, played 274 in Paralympics 2 years ago. That was a losing tie in the eyes of a lot of USA fans. They really bungled the tail end of that match. There was a double century stand between Stephen Taylor and Monak Patel in that game, and then nobody really remembers it because they really goofed up at the tail end of the chase. And again here, it was essentially a losing tie. USA was in command heading into the final over. They only needed 7 runs to win off 6 balls. 99% of the time, that's a team that's going to get across the line, especially with 4 wickets in hand. And yet, they couldn't do it. You'd call that a losing tie heading into the Super Over for USA. They were in a far more dominant position at the tail end of that chase. And here we go, having scored only 2 runs off this first half of the Super Over. They've really shot themselves in the foot in a big way, and it's going to need Ali Khan to spear the ball into the feet of the Nepal batters. But they're not going with him. They're going to go with Saurabh Netravalkar again. I don't know if I agree with this. I feel like Saurabh Netravalkar bowled the Super Over against Pakistan because in that situation he was better suited to it. In this situation, you need somebody who's going to explode the stumps with raw pace, and I think Ali Khan is the guy to do that. USA management obviously feels differently.
Well, what's the approach, I suppose, fascinatingly, for the 2 Nepali batters that have been selected? The captain is taking the responsibility himself. He's going to also take strike, and the man in form who was so brilliant today, surely nailed on to be the player of the match, Kushal Bertel, with that wonderful innings of 92 not out that came off 54 deliveries, 7 4s and 6 6s. What's their approach going to be? Are they going to tap 3 singles? Well, is Powell going to say, I'm going to get it done in 1 delivery?
These 2 guys, they're lightning between the wickets. They're quicksilver. If I were them, I would do what USA didn't do at the end of the match. USA was in a position where they just needed to tap and run. Harmeet Singh, I'm not sure what he was thinking, trying to heave a 6 with 2 overs to go.
Here we go. It's 3 to win, 6 balls to do it. And it's a dot. Oh, no, it's not. It's a misfield. Aaron Jones, it slipped through his fingers. On his birthday, he's had a birthday to forget. Out not once, but twice. And now a crucial misfield.
Well, I can't fault him too much. He shouldn't be in this situation. It shouldn't come down to needing to sprint in to cut off a single, defending 2 off a Super Over. There's a lot of things to criticize about USA tonight. I'm not going to pick on Aaron Jones for that one. There are other players in this lineup who had the responsibility to get USA over the line so they wouldn't be in a Super Over, and they just didn't get the job done.
Well, it was regulation, being honest, Peter. He didn't have to sprint a yard. He was standing at a silly mid-on. It just burst through his fingers. It's probably not going to end up being the difference between the sides. I'll agree with you on that much. But USA, credit to them now. They are actually going to gamble. They're bringing everyone in. They're not just going to allow Nepal to run 2 more singles. But Bertel, you would imagine, might just put a flourish to this finish with a boundary.
They've only got 1 fielder outside. It's 2, check that. They've got a deep third and a deep square leg. Those are the 2 fielders outside the ring, and they're hoping for a brain fade from Kushal Bertel to give a boundary catch.
Everyone else in saving a single. It's 2 to win. And he whips it elegantly out to the leg side. Any single from here will do. And the Nepal fans are on their feet. They know they're on the brink of a historic series victory here. And they're going to do so in the most dramatic of fashions. Here we go. Just 1 to win, 4 balls to do it. No is the call. Well, the Cardiac Kids, they're known for their drama, Peter. There's always a twist.
Well, if they can't get a single from here, this would be the most...
And just a reminder, there is another Super Over if there's 3 dots or 2 wickets.
This would be the most unglamorous Super Over if Nepal can't go over the line. This might be a Super Over that sets back cricket a decade if they can't get over the line here, Lenny.
3 balls remaining. Any run will do. USA need 2 wickets from one of their heroes of the World Cup, Saurabh Netravalkar, or 3 miraculous dots. And Powell, guides it away and gets the single. And Nepal get the victory. They take an unassailable 2-0 series lead, much to the delight of the thousands of fans who've packed this Grand Prairie Stadium. It didn't look likely for much of the chase, but thanks to the heroics of Sampal Kami, allied with Kushal Bertel's return to form, a first 50-plus score in international cricket for over 6 months for him, his innings of 92 not out, Karen KC's 3 wickets, and Sampal Kami's heroics in the 20th over, and then again in the super over. They've guided Nepal to a famous victory on the most sensational of Saturday nights in Grand Prairie.
Nepal, they just don't know how to win a match but by a comfortable margin, Lenny. They always take it down to the final ball, the final run. In this case, the final extra over, if you will, super over. Rohit Paldo and Kushal Bertel walk off with smiles on their faces. USA, on the other hand, they're going to be going into the locker room wondering what on earth just happened. This is almost, in some way, shades of what happened in the Netherlands, where they had winning positions and then inexplicably shot themselves in the foot on numerous occasions and just froze, couldn't get across the line.
And Andres House in particular, Peter, he looks shell-shocked, doesn't he? And you can understand why. The match was literally in his hands. It's harsh to criticise the man who was the highest run scorer of the chase, but even just a few strokes along the ground to the bigger side would have done, and he holed out.
Well, it started with Harmeet Singh's dismissal in the previous over in the 19th. Again, at that stage, USA really only needed a little over a run of ball, and he'd just taken 2 off the previous delivery with a very clever tap and run into a huge amount of green grass in the leg side. All he needed to do was do that a couple more times. Instead, for some reason, he tried to smash Karen KC back into the sight screen, didn't get enough of it, and then Andres House, same thing. You're in a situation where you just need to run a ball in the final over,